Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car, headed down to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, for another new comic book day. Now, for you guys who are new to the channel, I go down just about every week to Third Eye Comics, and you may wonder why I choose Third Eye as my go-to LCS for new comic books. Well, in the Baltimore area, there are plenty of LCSs, but there are a couple of reasons I go to Third Eye, and that's one, it's relatively close. It's an easy drive for me. Two, they buy so many new books that they pick up most of the new open order books, all the variants, as well as being able to bring in a ton of different ratios. And I've never seen any of the other LCSs even come close to doing that. So I go down to Third Eye. I have my pick of a lot of different books. I can take my time, go through a lot of different books. If I'm going to buy multiples, I'm looking for books that might want to get signed and possibly graded, I can take my time. I have a lot of choices to go through. And what I'll do is we'll go down. If you haven't watched the channel before, I'll go down, I'll do some filming. I'll show you all the new comic books that are out this week. And then after I get home, I'll bag and board everything I pick up, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned, guys. Let me get down there, and I'll be right back with all the new books. All right, guys, I just finished up here at Third Eye Comics, and I had a great time going through all the new comic books. They had a lot of great books this week, especially the G.I. Joe #1 from Skybound Image Comics, and I picked up a lot of different covers for that, mostly because Joshua Williamson, the writer in the book, is actually going to be doing a signing here in just a few days. So I wanted to get all my books ready to go, buy them now, get them bagged and board so I can come back here in a few days and go to the signing. But there are a lot of other great books too, so let me get home, I'll bag and board everything, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, I've made it back home, and I bagged and boarded all the new comics I picked up from Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland. let's get right into this. So the big book of the week was obviously G.I. Joe #1 from Image Comics, from Skybound. We've got Joshua Williamson, who is writing the book. And the reason that you're going to see so many books come up here, the ones I picked up, all the variant covers I picked up, is Joshua Williamson is going to be at Third Eye Comics in just a few days after this new comic book day. So I'm planning on getting most of these signed once I'm there, and that should be pretty exciting. And we'll do an episode on that as well. So let's just get into the covers and we'll go through what I picked up. All right, so the first book I picked up was cover A, Tom Riley doing the artwork and doing the cover for cover A right there. And I did pick up, and I'm not going to put them all up there, but I did pick up multiple copies of cover A. Again, like I said, I'm planning on getting every one of these signed. Here, let's see if we can adjust this just a little bit so you can see there. There you go. So you can see the whole book and everything. There you go. But there were a lot of other great covers, and I didn't pick up everything because I didn't just go in by everything. I picked up the covers that I really liked the most, and ones that I plan on maybe getting signed by the artist that's on the cover later on. So cover A is cover A because it's the regular book. But I did pick up the David Finch version right here. I believe this is cover D actually. And I picked up a couple of those. And David Finch is somebody who is a frequent convention goer. He shows up all the time, although I think he ended up canceling in Baltimore this year. So definitely got some books for him to get signed at a future date. I did pick up cover E. This is Lee, if I can pronounce this right, Bermejo. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This is a really cool Cobra Commander cover. I picked up a couple copies of that as well. That's somebody, Bermejo is somebody that I have not seen before, but this is one of those I may have to save. This is a pretty cool cover. If he ever does a signing, I might have to consider sending this into that signing, or if it's at CGC, maybe something like that. I also picked up this. This is somebody that's a favorite cover artist. Susan Micah did this right here. And that's somebody that I have been also saving up some books in my to-be signed pile. I've got some Catwoman books. Definitely I want to get signed. She was, I think, again, this was somebody who was supposed to be at Baltimore Comic Con but canceled pretty early. So, again, that stack of books is getting piled up a little bit for future signings. But this was a pretty cool cover. I did pick up a couple copies on that. Now, what would be New Comic Book Day without having another Jenny Frison cover? And we got a beautiful one right here on the new G.I. Joe. I believe this is cover G. And I did pick up a couple copies of this nice virgin cover, but I also picked up the foil version as well. You can see it's a little bit different there. It's kind of a dull foil, and I think that's pretty cool. And again, these books will be saved for Jenny Frison at a future date. I did not get to go to Heroes Con and get her to sign any of the books that I wanted to have her sign this year, so I'm saving those books as well. It's turning out to be a show haul about buying comics just to get signed. That's what it feels like at this point. All right, and then I did pick up the 1 in 10 David Nakayama ratio right here. I thought that was a beautiful cover. I actually like David Nakayama when there's some more detail in the illustration. He does a lot of these silhouetted characters on a solid color background, and don't get me wrong, they're fantastic. I got some beautiful ones. I've got a beautiful Power Girl one. I think I may even gotten the Superman one done. I know I've got X-23 as Wolverine. I've got a couple of books of that signed. I've got some Elektra that he had signed. Just some beautiful stuff. But I kind of dug this because the background had some detail. So I picked up a couple copies on that. And David Nakayama is somebody that I did see down at Heroes Con last year. So hopefully he'll be back. I think he was a guest of, and he does a lot of covers for Unknown Comics. So I'm hoping that he will be back at their booth again in a future con that I go to. And then the last cover that I picked up for G.I. Joe this week was the Third Eye Comics exclusive. And they did a couple covers, couple exclusives, and I wasn't crazy about the other one, but this one I kind of dug in a weird sort of kid-like way. This right here is Rion Gonzalez, and I thought this was kind of an interesting cover. I don't know. I think this was a little bit of that FOMO because here I am at Third Eye Comics and they've got their exclusive right there. So I went ahead on this one. I actually like the other one. If you guys care to look it up, just check it out. I didn't dig it. It's of who is it? It's one of the other characters. God, I'm blanking on that right now. But this is pretty cool. This is one of these. This is an artist I don't know anything about, but it's one of those covers that's kind of cool enough that if I ever see this person at a con, I will save this. And of course, I'm going to get Joshua Williamson to already sign it. So that'll be pretty cool. So a lot of G.I. Joe books to take this weekend. I will be taking all of these and putting them into my window bags that I create. I take a bag and board and I cut the windows out so the signature window will be there, but I use a lot of painter's tape to be able to protect the book, protect the edge of the signing area so they know where exactly to sign. So I've got all those saved, so you will see a video of that and you will see all these books that you just saw for G.I. Joe all in those window bags, and hopefully we'll get them all signed by, well, as of this filming, by this weekend. All right. Then we get some regular books, and I do have a pull box at Third Eye Comics, and they do pull Amazing Spider-Man for me, although I did switch it out from the regular cover to the Scotty Young cover this week. Kind of dug this. It was kind of cool. Also, it's because I also pre-order Amazing Spider-Man as well, so I didn't really need two copies of the regular cover, but I had not pre-ordered this right here for Scotty Young, so I just swapped it out. They buy so many comics, it's not a big deal. This is the beginning of the Joe Kelly short run. I think it's an intermediary gap between this and whatever is coming next for Spider-Man. It is the storyline 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And you've got Ed McGuinness back on art, which is always fantastic. It's some good stuff in there. So I enjoyed thumbing through it, but I haven't actually read it yet. I know he gets a new spider suit, sort of, so you'll have to read this to find out. I did pick up issue number 1 of Batman Uncovered, and I hadn't pre-ordered this, although I'm pretty good about buying number 1s. Here, let's see if I can get the light. There you go. Get that light off of there. They did have a pretty cool... Who was it? There was another cover. I think it was a David Nakayama cover of this. I think it was. I'm not sure, but this was the only cover. This is cover A. Don't really care too much about the book at this point, but these books at this point for Batman, but I dug the art. The art in Batman's been fantastic. Jorge Jimenez did the cover for this right here, but he does not do the interior. So I just picked up a regular number 1 of this. That's normal collector mentality there. Pick up number 1s of popular characters, right? All right. Speaking of Batman, let's switch over to the hottest thing out there right now, Absolute Batman. And issue number 2 came out. And I didn't pick up the regular cover because it is already pre-ordered. But I did pick up some of the variants that I know I didn't pre-order. And so we've got this one right here. This one right here. This is Raphael. I'm blanking on it for a sec. Let's see. It's Raphael Albuquerque did this. And here is a beautiful Jay Lee cover right there. And then this homage to Dark Knight Returns number 2 by Dan how am I going to pronounce this? Panosian? Is that how you say it? Did this right here. This is absolutely gorgeous. So rich in detail. It is a very nice homage to Dark Knight Returns number 2. And that was it for... There were a couple more, I think, covers for issue number 2 that I just didn't pick up. I don't need to buy every one of these. But I did pick up issue number 1 of Absolute Batman as the Noir edition. And this is pretty cool. The paper has more of a newsprinty feel to it. Even the cover has more of a grit to it. And it's kind of cool. I dug going through this because I love seeing the black and white ink art of a comic. I think coloring today really detracts from the absolute greatness of inks and pencils. And in this book right here, you can go through this book and you can see just the beautiful line art that is this book right here. I think the coloring, again, like takes away from it a little bit. A lot of times coloring will enhance it, but I feel like coloring today overshadows the inking of the book, if that makes any sense to you. And I think this is a great addition. I think I really enjoyed this right here. And then that leaves us with the last book of the week. They had another #1 from DC Comics. We had the new Black Lightning #1. Not really caring about this, but I went ahead and picked up issue #1. Again, collector mentality there. But I did pick up 3 copies of the variant cover right here. And this is Sanford Green. And if you guys know who that is the creator of Bitterroot. He also did this summer, biggest book of the summer, I think, outside of Ultimate Spider-Man and Absolute Batman, was Doom #1, the one-shot that he did with Jonathan Hickman. And I've got some books left over. I got some Doom books left over. He is going to be at Third Eye Comics here later in November. I don't know if this episode may appear after he shows up there. I'm not sure about my schedule at this point, but I plan on taking these copies. I picked up 3 of those to get signed by Sanford Green because I've only got a few Doom books left to get signed by him that I still had in my PC. So plan is I'm going to get some more Doom books signed, and I'm going to take these Black Lightnings to get signed as well, only because it's relevant, because it just came out. It's brand new. There's nothing like that out in the market. I'll definitely keep one. I'll probably have a couple of these up for sale. I don't know yet. But guys, that is it for New Comic Book Day. These are the books that I picked up, but there are a lot of other great books this week. I know Psylocke was out with her new series. I don't know if that's an ongoing or a miniseries. I'd already pre-ordered my regular issue of that, and honestly, none of the covers jumped out at me and said buy me, so I didn't pick up any of those Psylocks, and there was plenty of other great books this week. But I pre-order most of my new comic books 2 to 3 months in advance with M&M Comics. And that saves me a lot of money. I get a 35 to 50% discount on all new comics. Well, going to my LCS, even with a pull box, I only get 10% discount. So it is a lot of money to save to do that pre-order. And I've been trying to, and if you watch my channel, you know I've been doing a really good job of doing a pretty good pre-order. There are weeks like this, though, that throws a wrench into the monkey, so to speak, when there is a signer coming up at the LCS and the book just came out. And this happens frequently at Third Eye Comics, where the book just launches and 3 days later there's the artist, the writer, whoever to launch the book. And there's no way I'm going to get that order in time to get those books signed. So I do have to pick up in weeks like this. If I want things signed, I need to pick those books up now and go ahead and just get that 10% discount, but not just kind of eat it a little bit. But you got to do what you got to do to get your book signed, I suppose. But anyway, guys, that is it for today. Definitely leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the books I picked up. And if you enjoy this kind of content, definitely hit that like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any of the episodes that I put out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. I will see you for the next episode. And remember, every comic has a story.